is up, friends? Rob here, the Medicare minister, and I'm back with a brand new Spitting Fire podcast. I have Mr. Lawrence Tam with me today, and he's going to spit some serious fire, and I know he's going to bring it. But before we do that, I want to remind you, as always, to make sure to comment, like, subscribe below, so that way you're always notified when we drop this fresh content. We do our Monday motivations, and then we also every Wednesday drop our Spitting Fire interviews. So Lawrence, thank you, man, for being so generous with your time today and spending a few minutes with me.
Hey, thanks for the invite. Anytime, man.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, I always like to kick off with just, all of our guests giving us a little story, maybe like the Sports Center highlight version, and just tell us kind of your background, if you're married, where you're from, and then just fast forward to where you're at today.
Yeah, so born and raised Houston, Texas. I don't think I have much of an accent, but maybe I do. I don't know. It depends on your listeners. Got three kids, and I did the traditional, Asian parent route. You go get a STEM degree. I was an engineer for a bit, a little over a decade. Wasn't for me. I was looking for a way out, and sales was like an unknown thing for an engineer. Most of us are told what to do and build something. But it was really intrigued about this, whole direct sales thing and selling on the internet. I think I got started back when like Friendster and MySpace were like the real, like, you're on MySpace, right? And I was just learning about direct marketing, and I did pretty well enough. In 2011, I retired from engineering. So one of the things that I was carrying around for me was retired at the age of 33. I thought that was a really interesting thing. Who retires at 33? So I retired from engineering at the age of 33. Retired my wife from accounting at 35, I guess. She's 2 years older than me. And ever since, I've been working from home basically, right? I travel the world. I do business all over the world now, but basically from a laptop in my office. And it's just been very blessed that we live in an age where, we can have Zoom meetings versus teleconference calls where I'm like, I don't even know what I look like, what you look like, but you can hear my voice. And it's just, super impersonal. I guess podcasts are trying to bring that back right now, but with this is legit, right? And you're in my cave,
right?
Right? This is where the magic happens. I tell Jess, my wife Jessica, like, this is how I keep myself engineering free.
Sure.
So I just stay here, do some work, and then I play with the kids. So I'm more of a stay-at-home dad versus like a guru marketer, SEO guy, or paid marketer. I'm just a dude who makes a good living, helps people out, and that's what I do now.
Sure. And just to kind of dive a little bit deeper, I mean, when you say you've been successful, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess everyone has different milestones. When I first got into it, can I make my money back in whatever I do? And then it was like, well, the magic number was always, can you make 10K in a month, right? And then once I hit that, what is the next milestone? So I made 7 figures in my last company, joined a new company, and just, I've been there about 4 years at a company called Pruvit, doing health and wellness. If you've heard of low carb, high fat, that's just kind of the thing I really enjoyed, and I decided to start, put my knowledge into that type of marketing, that business. So focusing more on the health side.
Sure. No, that's great. I love what you said in the beginning. You said you were looking for a way out. So let me stop there for a minute. We'll just kind of dive into that. Why do you think so many people struggle with really just believing in themselves to really take that chance and get that way out? Like, what was it for you that you finally said, I'm going to do it?
Yeah, I think most of us, born and raised in the United States, I'm born and raised. My dad is, he came here overseas from Hong Kong, and all they know is education. Get a good degree, get a job. He was in real estate and all that, but he told me to become an engineer. So that was the box that was drawn for me. Go to college, go get a job, and if you want to sell homes on the side, that's about it. There's no real other avenues. But after I think I had an internship. I'm gonna date myself. So this was in 97, 98. I had an internship, and I remember going to work at 6 a.m. in the summer, coming back at 6 p.m. because it was an hour commute. And all I had time was to eat, take a shower, watch 30 minutes of Seinfeld, and then go back to bed and go back to work. Wow. And that was kind of like the first the cracks in the dream that this life kind of sucks,
Right.
but maybe everyone does it, right?
Right.
And I lived through the whole oil and gas. So I'm in Houston. Oil and gas was huge, but we went through a huge downturn. I remember half the floor being laid off. And I'm like, this is and so all these pieces starting to build my foundation that this is not a good way to raise a family.
Right.
And so that I started looking like, how do I spend more time with my kids? And that was the main focus.
Sure.
Because when you're salaried, people complain about 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is great, right? In terms of hours. When you're salaried, when a project comes around, you're on a $20 million tool, you're probably working 60, 70 hours a week with no overtime. And how do you have time to see your kids? It's really hard. Forget about taking them to a ball game or going to a basketball practice or coaching Little League. Ain't happening. So yeah, that was the way out. Like I was trying to find examples of people who had lifestyles that I wanted. And there was very few. Either they were doctors, never home, highly successful business people, never home, or then there was a stay-at-home mom who was always home.
Right.
But where's the in-between? I couldn't find it. So that's why I looked online. Yeah.
Sure. And so you were talking about when you first started, and I like to ask this question, how has your definition of success changed from the first time you started, getting that way out, really beginning to grow to maybe what it is like or what the definition is in 2021, or has it changed?
I guess it has in some sorts, but like as long as I never have to worry about going back to my old profession of engineering, that's success, right? It was never like I want to drive a Lambo or I want to have 4 houses. One of the nicknames I had, in the marketing terms, like I was pushing, because you always want to you want to separate yourself, right? The frugal Asian, right? Yeah. But what's crazy is a lot of Asians are frugal. I don't know how many Asian friends you got, but I would say it's a pretty common trait. A lot of us have black hair.
I got you.
But for me, it's just like, how do I live a comfortable life? And I think there was a new report that came out. Like I live in Sugar Land, which is the suburbs of Houston. I believe it's like the second safest city in the United States now, or something ridiculous. Okay. And then CNN Money did it's the top 5 places to live in the United States. And so me, it's like, maybe this is it. So I ride my bike, take my kids, I kind of figure out what was the dream that I really wanted. For sure, not going into the office. And number 2, being able to travel and not have 2, 3 weeks of 4 weeks of vacation a year. And so that was the success idea. It's like, what would it take financially to do that, and then have enough money to officially retire, where I literally do nothing. But the thing is, I kind of don't do a lot as it is right now, because a lot of the stuff is automated. I have a lot of team members, associates. I have a lot of partners. My email list is there for, I don't know, the last 10 years. So over time, it's just, the success is how much work do I need to do versus how much, is being done for me in a true business sense, I guess.
Sure. And when you first started, when did you really start thinking, man, I could really do this long term? I mean, I know you looked for this way out, and I know, you took a chance and, bet on yourself. When did you really start to go, you know what, this could really be something here? This is really.
Yeah. So the 2 milestones, it wasn't breaking even. Generally, it's about breaking even because that's kind of a vague milestone. First one was I was doing e-com. I was an eBay power seller back in 2005 or something. Being able to sell something to someone on the internet was a complete stranger. So understanding merchants, there's a demand. Someone will buy from me regardless if they even saw my face. I was like, that kind of blew my mind. That was number 1. That means I can sell something on the internet without going, belly to belly, going to someone's house and door knocking. And then number 2, selling to somebody not even in my country, right?
Right.
So I was in a network marketing company, and everyone says you have to go to a home party or the standard, friends and family, which I'm totally cool with, right? Because if you have a product or service that's really cool, you really should help your friends and family out, right? But I was able to sell, bring on a promoter that was doing military detail in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And he saw it from a blog post that I was writing because I was learning SEO. And to me, that was like, wait a minute, no paid ads, writing blog posts, writing content. The guy saw it and wanted to work how I worked. and I still talk to him to this day, but that's just fun. Like that was like mind blowing that anyone would, you know, like if you're building a team or organization or building a sales force, you can recruit, all right, well, we call it recruiting, but basically bringing on new promoters for your organization through that way. It's just crazy.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. That's what the beauty of online marketing. Obviously, I was in that space, still do a little bit on the side, but I loved it, man. It's still love it. It's just a great way to promote products.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I always ask this to everybody I interview. If there was one word you would use to describe yourself, what would that word be?
I guess one word, huh? That's not even one word. That's like two words.
Words, man, be a game changer.
Yeah. I would say relentless, you know?
Okay.
So, you know, there's always those guys or idea that someone's burning the midnight oil. But there was no handbook. There was very little YouTube information. Information now is a little more easier to find, and specifically for your niches and stuff and what you want to learn. But back in the day, man, it was like, I would say 2009, finding a way to drive traffic, build business, like manage email lists, all of this stuff was just overwhelming. It was just crazy. Just way too much. And everything's evolved since with Facebook and social media and the advent of like YouTube. Back then, man, it's just like, it would be very much, it would be okay for someone to hang it up, because it's difficult to be a one-man shop, running everything, driving new traffic, and then taking care of clients. It's just really hard. But yeah, relentless for sure.
So relentless, so the part B to that is, you know, how has that helped you be successful? Was it just this no quit attitude? Was it, it took?
Yeah. So I have a kid going, I have three kids, but the middle one's going to high school. And, you know, I did football in high school, and I'm trying to tell him, it's like, look, I'm sorry I didn't give you the 6'5" gene, but our family is like all, you know, just not very tall, not very strong, not very fast. But what we have is we got heart and grit, right? And the only reason, you know, I'm able to even step on the same field of some of these athletes is because I just don't quit, right? Regardless of what's stacked against you. So regardless if you only have 2 hours in that, regardless if, you know, I was working on dial-up for a long time, and it just doesn't matter, right? So a lot of people have these excuses that, oh, 10 people told me no, or, oh, Facebook ads slapped me. The landscape of your business will continue to change, but, you know, what will you do as an entrepreneur to get past that? Right? Will you be resourceful, or will you just hang it up? And I think having that idea really helped me, and something I encourage many others, like, don't give up, because the reason you did it in the first place must have been a pretty big goal or a dream, and it must have been worth it. So don't give it up just because, you know, you run into roadblocks.
No, that's spitting some serious fire, man. I totally agree. That's that old adage of hard work beats, you know, talent any day of the week. And I love what you said, because so many people do forget their why. It's like their why gets drowned out, if you will, by just doing stuff and getting busy and the stress and the circumstances. And would you say that having a deep why, like a real strong emotional why, is what helps keep you going through those things?
I mean, mine's changed over time, but eventually it was, you know, to be a stay-at-home dad. But I mean, the crazy thing is, you know, I first got into like selling on eBay on the internet was, can I make $50 a month to, you know, spend on my gaming habit? I used to play a lot of video games, and I didn't want to use family funds for my own entertainment, right? So if I want to watch a movie, if I want to go to a video game, $50 a month. And obviously that's a kind of a silly goal, but to make $50 a month that was just generated in profits, it's something, right? And, you know, as you start to get bigger and you start to understand that there really is no limit, right? Like a job, there's a manager who's blocking you, or if there's an department, there's only so many people at the seat of the table. In business, you know, depending on what vertical you're in, what kind of industry you're in, especially if you're in sales, there really are no limits. And especially if you work with high-end individuals who really are like expanding the limits of what you believe in. If you see someone do something and they can do it, then your dreams, your goals start to expand and morph into theirs, right? So yeah, I mean, there'll be steps. So don't feel like your goals are not significant to you, but just know that, you know, if the first time you get tested and it feels like it's not worth it, it's because that dream or goal really wasn't that important. It was just more of like that'd be cool if I'd had it.
Yeah.
So then you probably have to grow it a little bit.
And it's so interesting too, because, you know, interviewing top leaders from different spaces, you find these common threads that as they mature and grow, it's like their why does. Not that their why doesn't still have some similarities as the years go by, but maybe where it was more monetary, now it's more others or family focused, or it's combined with that. So what would you say are some things in your life, whether you did them on your own, whether it was through mentor, whether it's through consuming content that poured into your life? What are some things that really helped you get to the point to where you're at today? Can you narrow down maybe 1 to 2 things that really?
Yeah, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur, or basically a one-man shop or one-woman shop, and you're not going to some type of an event, so I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically for your industry. But you know, if you go to affiliate marketing summits, or you go to like specific things for like SEO or paid traffic, you really kind of open your eyes to what's available out there. Because there's high-end type people in all verticals. Like I went to one affiliate summit, and just, you know, the type of stuff people run traffic to is just amazing, that they can run that as a business and have it sustainable, right? Because from the internet, from what you look at people, a lot of it's their marketing, it's their brand, it's their curtain. But when you start talking to them in after parties, you kind of figure out who they are. You know, they're not that much different from you. It's just maybe that they took a different angle, or maybe they're a little more aggressive because, you know, whatever reason. But it gives you an idea. Yeah, I would say definitely going to events, any type of event. Because if you've never been to an event, it's really hard to kind of gauge where you should be or what ideas you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that's probably number one. I've been, you know, you generally go to the ones in your own industry, and then eventually you start to expand out, and you really should kind of mix that.
Yeah. Yeah, I call it getting in the room, man. Events allow you to do that and to rub shoulders. And, you know, it's interesting you say that, because that's one thing I was just talking about this morning with some folks, is that, you know, we're going to an event. I'll actually be in Dallas for the rest of the week. We're driving down there tomorrow, and this insurance space that we're in, it's a huge event called 8%. But I'm going, I know about insurance, but Eric Thomas is going to be there speaking, Patrick Bet-David, you know, other top speakers, but there's other top people and leaders in our space that are going to be there. And one of my goals is just to connect with them. You know, I always tell people, you never know when you're going to learn those 1 or 2 nuggets that may take your business to the next level. And it sounds like you believe the same thing. Yeah,
for sure. Because it's really hard to cross paths and to get someone's attention online, right? You can message them all day, but sometimes just, you know, that one beer or that one meal or that one activity that kind of breaks the ice. And then now, you know, it opens up a whole new kind of connection that you can carry on from that. Yeah.
Sure. So events was one. Any others that you would say would come, you know, be second or pretty close to that top spot besides events? Is there anything else that you would say is really, this has been key to my overall success?
Yeah, I would say if you're not always learning, you're dying, right? So not to say I was a good or a great student, but you'll notice a lot of people don't have books. They don't have a big library of information that would help them in their profession or to open up their mind. So tons of audibles, tons of audiobooks, whole bookshelves of just books, because people collect things, not things that are actually helpful, right? So if you're not constantly feeding your mind, there's a problem. So one of the things I try to do, you know, every day, about 15 to 30 minutes. I don't read as much as I would like to, because now I'm multitasking more when I'm driving between events, between like my kids, picking them up and stuff. None of them drive yet. So I'm driving all over the place. So Drive Time University, being able to turn on, you know, a podcast or turn on an audiobook, listen to it at 1.5 speed. You can actually go through a lot of material through your car, right? So it's not like I'm taking one specific thing, an hour of my day just to learn. I'm taking tidbits, right, from all industries and all, you know, different types of things.
Sure. So let me ask you this: successful in the online space, home-based business space, combine both of those. Obviously, a leader in that space. What is one thing that you feel that you maybe implement or teach your team Is it getting to events? Is it this learning? Is there something that you look back and go, the reason I've been able to get this within my team is because I've implemented these strategies, not only the ones you've talked about. Was there anything else that you would say this has really helped my team grow? Maybe there's somebody watching this that goes, I'm struggling to get any kind of duplication. I'm struggling to, maybe I want to recruit agents in the insurance space, but just don't know. Is there some strategy that will help me pour into my team to help them stay consistent and stay with it?
Yeah, I would say the two things that I definitely employ within my organization, the things that I do and I would recommend is number one, you got to be consistent, right? So when people say consistent, I've been learning on and off, every other day or maybe every day, some type of marketing the last 10 years, right? It's like, if it's an email or looking at headlines or looking at someone's profile or reverse engineering someone's funnel or looking at someone's, ad copy, there's always something. So if you are working full-time job and you're trying to build your side business, whatever industry you're in, and you're not constantly thinking, how do I make my business better and looking at things that are available, what happens is you go through these long lapses of time that you're not in your business. And so it's like, well, unless you have partners or organizations that are growing, then it's basically like you turned off your store, right? Your store is literally not open for business. So just being ultra aware of, always be, because some people say being consistent is like, I put out a marketing piece or I wrote an email, which is awesome too. But I think a lot of times people take these long vacations, because even on vacation, you should get some ideas, have a little notepad, get some ideas. I would say number one is that. That's probably paramount because if you're not doing that, right? Who's gonna? You don't have a boss that tell you got 5 tasks that you need to take care of. It just doesn't happen. You have to be self-motivated. Yeah.
So if we were to interview like people on your team, right? Because you built a team, you've been successful leader. I know we were in a company together and you were one of the top leaders, and obviously you encouraged me and inspired me then with other, leaders there. But what would you say that if we were to interview them, why they follow Lawrence Tam? What is it about a leader? What is something that says, you know what, I just believe this guy. I just want to follow this guy.
Yeah, I would say 2 things: consistency and always looking to improve. So, generally in network marketing so much or direct sales, there's not that much innovation. It's still belly to belly, but in different forms. But, in terms of always pushing the envelope to build automation, I still think in the direct sales space, there's a group of them that will do email, but a lot of people don't do email. Stuff like that, right? So those are people who will work with me are always seeing me innovate, right? Setting up these chat bots for training purposes, for engagement purposes, setting up different types of funnels, different marketing campaigns, applying, more of the ClickBank traffic type style of tripwire stuff. Most people don't do that stuff, right? But I'm always testing, right? So regardless of what people are doing, right, I do what I need to do, but on top of that, I'm always looking to kind of push the envelope on what works.
Yeah.
Right. Now, obviously, like right now, TikTok is just crazy. But the thing is, TikTok was just like Instagram, was just like Facebook, like when that first came out. But they all have their spikes. But after that, there's, where's your business?
Right.
And if your business is only from one traffic source, your business is really going to suffer, right? So back when I got into SEO, before all the Google updates, all the animals coming out, the penguins and pandas and all the PPC stuff, that was it, right? So as long as, a decade in the industry, you're going to see different shifts. So as long as you're consistent and always pushing the envelope, you're going to find different things that will help, cultivate new engagements, new traffic, new leads, and new sales. Yeah,
man, you're definitely spitting some serious fire in that last little few sentences there. I love what you said, because I think so many people get stuck in that mindset. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I hear that. And in our space, we've been doing this thing where we've been inviting agencies in to see our blueprint.
Mhm.
And what we're doing, and one of the things that I teach in one of the sessions is really challenge him to break outside the box and quit doing the same old thing.
Yeah.
And I love what you're saying there, because a lot of people, even in the pastoral space and the church space, a lot of churches died during COVID because they didn't adapt to online marketing, and they knew it was coming, but COVID forced them. And it's the same thing in business. If you're not willing to adapt, if you're not willing to innovate, if you're not willing to get on that innovation train, your business will die. But I love one thing that you said. You talked about one traffic source, and we've heard that word a lot in the online marketing space, but it's true for any business, brick or mortar or online. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some are lucky enough that maybe they're in a really good location physically that they're not having to worry about it too much. But what happens when the freeway changes and they block your exit, or
Right.
COVID, whatever. You're basically one event away from going broke. Hopefully, you're cultivating different ways to generate new sources of views and building your audience up. But that's just, it's like a warning, and hopefully the warning falls on ears that might need it down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes people get too caught up in just, loving one source of traffic, and then they get Facebook slapped in or Instagram banned, and that's it. Their business is shut off. And if that's your only income source, then what are you going to do, right? So if you're still growing, you're still generating revenue, you should always be considering testing and figuring out where you should be spending your time to generate those new eyeballs.
Yeah. And I love what you said about systems too, because I've seen that both in the faith-based space as being a church planner and in the ministry. I used to tell people all systems do is help me communicate the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And the better systems, the more efficient I can keep. There's only so much you can do as one person.
Yep.
But if you put the right systems, do you see that in your business as well? Do you feel like that's obviously it's been very helpful and contributed to your success? But do you get some blowback sometimes to some people on systems in your space?
Yeah, I mean, like that blowback, it's just, it's probably someone new to the industry or
Right.
new to building their own business.
Sure.
But I'm always trying to teach people to leverage, right? Because when you're a solo entrepreneur, like I don't have a staff right now. I have contractors, but a couple of years ago, I had 2 full-time employees. And then as I started to look at things, because I didn't build a system that was replacing what they were doing. Now, could those people do it better? Probably, but I run a really lean ship, and there's not much I really need to do now, right? Because as long as you build those systems up, it works, right? It just works. And sometimes you just got to spend a little bit of time working in your business, right, to kind of grow it in that sense versus, on it. So building inside systems, growing different ways you do things, and making sure it's something, it fits in your business style. Right? Because some people really love talking on the phone. Me personally, not a big fan of it, right? I'm always busy. I'm always out. I'm always with the kids. It's not good. Too much noise in the baseball field, whatever. So as long as you build different ways to communicate and grow your business using these systems, you're going to have people who don't understand it. And it's really up to them to find what system works for them to grow their organization and systemize, the redundant tasks that are always being needed to be met.
Yeah, and it's interesting how when you implement the right systems, that it really allows you to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't work hard, but it's use systems, as you said, to leverage, that work to make us work smarter and actually make more money in the long run, because you have systems helping you next level. Right. And you've seen that in your business. So one thing I want to ask you real quickly as we wrap up, 2 more things real quickly. One is, I also know you as a brand guy. You were really big about building that 33-year-old retired at 30.
Yeah.
I remember all of that from my online marketing days.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many people still don't lean into the brand? They take it for granted, but they'll build someone else's brand, maybe because we're indoctrinated to do that, so to speak. But why is brand still so important? And then that's part A. And then part B is, why do so many people overlook that?
I think it's just easier. So I get it. So if that's you, I get it. I'm an introvert engineer. I'd rather be behind the curtain than in front of the curtain. I totally get it, right? But if you really want to break out in your industry, a lot of times it comes with branding, right? It kind of comes with who you are. Because what happens is, people will look for you, right? And people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. But if they don't know what the hell you're about or who you are, it's really hard to really do that. Maybe you're really good with copy and you don't really need that, but even with copy, you're trying to build rapport as fast as you can.
Sure.
And I know in the network marketing space, they're trying to build processes where it's not as necessary
Sure.
because you're talking to your friends and family. There's no really reason to build a brand because you're just talking to your neighbor. Why do you need to build a brand for?
Yeah.
But once you go online and there's thousands of other businesses that you're competing with for airspace and time, it's going to help you down the road to kind of be, that person, be the person that someone would want to hang out with. Because if you're just a faceless profile image and you're trying to really build something long term, it's going to be harder for you. Not necessarily saying it's impossible, but you're either paying more in time or in money to drive your business forward because you're not, sending your personality out there. That's where Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is such a great way. You can kind of show who you are, and people will gravitate towards you. Not necessarily saying you're making a sale or trying to have a transaction at that point, but people will tend to listen to you, and maybe it's not buying right now, but when they are ready to buy something from you, it comes down that road because you have to build that rapport over time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching a podcast interview. One of my favorite life coaches, motivational speakers, is a guy by the name of Ed Milet. And I listen to his content every morning. And he had these two social media influencers that they're big, like big multi-million views on their videos. And the one guy was telling his story about how he just really started by being authentic. He came back from being overseas. I think he was in the Marines or the Army. He had PTSD. He was going through some stuff, but he loved just to make videos. Like, he was a really funny guy, but he didn't really know if anybody would watch it. And all his friends were telling him, don't do that. That's stupid. You're going to embarrass us. The family was telling him all that. But he did that and met this girl who's now his wife. And now their videos have millions and millions of views. And it's just interesting how our world is really starving just for real authentic, and a real glossy world, and social media, the news kind of being fake news, and that kind of thing. It's interesting how we're just starving for real, genuine, authentic people, and how even something that may have been viewed as being silly, that now it's turned into $1 million business just making videos online.
Yeah. Like 10 years ago, would there be something called influencers?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
But now with the whole advent of like YouTube and being able to be sponsored, that's an actual, I guess that's a thing people want to do as a career path.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is you can just do it part-time. You kind of get a feel for it, something you're passionate about, and definitely go that way. Yeah.
Sure. And it's interesting how people are just building their brands just by finding, even if it's just something silly and outright stupid, if that's their unique them.
Yeah.
Like what you said, people want to know, like, and trust you. And if that's really the true authentic self, how many people will buy or pay, if you will, to get more of that. So as we wrap up here, this channel, still relatively new, but we're reaching people that are in entrepreneur space in all different niches, primarily the insurance, but also home-based business, online marketing, is that's something that I really love as well. And there's other people out there. So somebody's watching this today, Lawrence, and as we're wrapping up here, what are some final words of wisdom? Like, are there some principles, or there's just some wisdom, some from the Lawrence Tam Vault that you just say, you know what, maybe they're brand new, wanting to bet on themselves and taking that chance, or maybe they're about to give up. What is something maybe that you would give them to put fresh wind in their sails, so to speak?
Yeah. So this isn't applying for everybody, but there's going to be a subset of the viewers who are watching this, but you got to love on the haters, man. So as you get bigger, as you start to make a little bit of a name for yourself, even if it's not the money so much at the point yet, like, you're happy. But what's going to happen is on your journey, there's going to be these haters, like you were talking about, family members or friends, like, don't do that, you'll embarrass us. Don't worry about that, right? Because like, you got to think 10 years from now, if you got to where you wanted to go, or at least close to, would it matter? No, haters don't even matter, man. Doesn't matter. So I just know a lot of people, like early in my career, and a lot of people I've coached and worked with, haters kind of really derailed them a little bit longer than they should have. I mean, take a pity party for a day if you need to, or whatever you need, but get back to it. But don't let someone's opinions and views stop who you are and what you're trying to do. Like, your goals and missions are a little bit different than everyone else, and the value you bring. And if you don't bring it because of someone's comment, mean tweet, someone's comment, someone's, they went to a dinner with you and they told you how they felt, and it kind of put you in a bad place. Just know if you don't build that content, someone out there looking for you won't be able to see it, right? It doesn't get created without you. So don't let someone's, haterade, rain on your parade. So just keep pushing forward, man. You know, I mean, it's just super important to just go through.
Man, bro, you're taking us to Spitting Fire Church. I was ready for you to pass around the offering plate there, man. I was going to drop in some money. Maybe I'll cash out. That's true. That's so good. That's really, really good. And I know in my life, you just have to understand, even from a pastoral ministry background, and people are just going to hate no matter what. And you have to just learn how to kind of be like Superman. It stings, but just kind of let it bounce off of you. And this part right here will tell you I'm a true preacher. So preachers will say they're going to close and they have one more close, but you said something at that end. So if you'll let me be a preacher just for a second, you said the word happy. And I love what you said, because I really believe that term is subjective, right? Like, we all have different versions. What is happy to Lawrence Tam? Define that for me.
Being my own boss, living my own lifestyle, waking up without an alarm clock is, nothing really defined what was to be happiness, right? Get a job, make some money, whatever, drive a nice car, have a big house. But for me, it's just, the comfort level, being able to wake up to the sun. I don't know if that resonates with anybody. I mean, I still wake up early in the morning sometimes to take my kids to practice. I get it.
Yeah.
But to have the ability to wake up to the sun, or having the option to, is happiness to me.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. I love that. Simple, straight to the point. I love it. My wife's not a morning person. Unfortunately, I sleep only about 4 hours a night. I'm wired, ready to go at 4:30 in the morning. Even if I wanted to sleep in on my best day, I couldn't. So my wife would say a big amen to that.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? I know you're on Facebook, but what other platforms are you on?
Yeah, so I'm primarily on Facebook. Just Google or Facebook Lawrence Tam. So one of the things I try to pride myself on when I first started online marketing was there was hundreds of Lawrence Tams. Most of them are Asian. Yeah. My goal was I want to be the one that pops up first. Sure. Pretty sure you'll find me first. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you'll find me there. But I'm generally on Facebook. But yeah, if you want to connect with me on some of my digital services, Pressure Point Marketing, hit me up there. I'm building up a little cool thing there because I don't like doing stuff. So I like people doing stuff for me, and I kind of took that idea, let me do stuff for you. But yeah, paid ads and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Pressure Point Marketing, is that for any niche, any industry?
Any niche, yeah. If you're looking for Google ads, PPC ads, building up a landing page, you need some product descriptions, you need an email autoresponder written for some copyright stuff. Yeah, just come on by. Yeah, we'll help you out.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us today. Lawrence is the real deal. And as always, please, once again, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Would love to have you watching all the content that we're dropping every week. I promise you, our goal is this. I believe all of you deserve to win, but you're going to have to see it for yourself. And I'm hoping stories and content. Lawrence spit some fire today, big time. And I hope that it puts fresh wind in your sails, and you say to yourself, you know what? I do deserve to win. Don't quit. Keep going on. Make it an awesome day. God bless you guys, and we will see you guys soon.
Thanks.